For rain, for the good times, for the bad times, we're thankful for it all. And we're certainly thankful that we're up, we're awake, we're alive. It's yet another glorious day. If you've only just joined us, you've come to exactly the right place. It's the best breakfast show in all of the land. This is 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. It's a glorious Wednesday morning. Today is the second day of the 10th month to be a part of the proceedings. And my goodness, what an IPAC meeting that was. Today we'll be dissecting exactly what happened yesterday, catching you up to speed. Before we do that, though, let's find out what the weather has in store for us. Felicity Appiah-Ampofo, chief forecaster with the Ghana Met, connects with us now. Felicity, hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. What does the weather have in store for us today?
Yes, for today we expect it to be variably cloudy across the Sixtus region. We expect temperatures to be around 31, 34 over most portions of the country. And we have some low chances of rain and thunder in the afternoon into the evening hours over the Volta Eastern Ashanti part of the coastal strip. For the fisher folk, the state of the sea today is expected to be rough. The Volta Lake this morning, they are pretty cool for fishing activities. Late afternoon into the evening hours, we expect some few areas to have localized development of rain and thunder.
Fantastic. Felicity, thank you so much for that update. Of course, we'll be checking on the socials for subsequent ones to follow. Again, that was Felicity Appiah-Ampofo letting us know exactly what to expect as far as the weather is concerned.
I want to take this opportunity on behalf of all the other parties to commend the NDC. They have done the yeoman's job for taking time to go through the register to be able to identify 50,000 people, 50,000 dead persons. It's not a joke. Then, Dr. Boma, well done. And 50,000, when you divide it by 18.7 million, it will give you 0.002. And this is not even up to 0.01%. So in auditing, this will be classified as immaterial. So no auditor will spend time to work on that because it's immaterial. So those who are calling for forensic audit, at this point in time, it casts my mind back to 2016 when what is that judge's name? The judge that we met at Alisa, VCWWQRC crap. Yes, VCRAC crap. VC crap, yes, okay. He said something, and I want to bring all our minds to it, that we had no time to waste. So from now to 7th December, it's 65 days or 67 days. When are we going to do this forensic audit? 276 constituencies, 40,000 polling stations, 18 million registered voters. Who is going to do that auditing in less than 60 days? So, NDC, please stop this request because it's not going to help anybody. And mind you, this is a biometric register. No dead person can come out from her grave or his grave to come and vote. So if there's a dead person on the register, what is it going to do to affect your resource? So please, this one is non-starter. You shouldn't have even sent that request here. You have wasted a...
3FM Sunrise. The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
13 minutes to the top of the hour, 7 a.m. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Apologies again, there is no Johnny's Bite this morning. No Johnny's Bite this morning. Apologies for that. But myself and Sixtus Ullo we'll be getting into the newspaper review. We'll be getting into the front pages and then, of course, sinking our teeth into the pertinent issues of the day. Sixtus, how are we doing this morning?
God is good.
Are you sure? I'm not sure how convincing you sound this morning.
Oh, God, yeah, he's good, though.
God is good
It's Ghana,
all the time and all the time.
No, God, yeah, he's good. God, yeah, he's good. Maybe that's why we are still surviving.
Despite everything that is going on.
The goodness of the Lord keeps us on.
Hallelujah.
The Bible says that he will not test you or give you any test which is greater than the grace, or heavier, or mightier, or stronger than the grace you have been bestowed with. In other words, there's nothing that comes your way that you cannot handle.
Maybe I don't want to. Don't even bring it my way. How about that one?
Well, he never promised us that the road will be easy.
Hey! Somebody said they want to make sure they are not on God's strongest soldier list for next year. You know, the toughest battles go to the strongest soldiers. Somebody said, I don't put me on the strong soldier list. I'm not strong. Well, we've got some papers here. As I mentioned, we'll run through the headlines and get into the meat of the matter. The New Finder newspaper this morning, I had a quick glance. I'm seeing IPAC here and there. I'm sure it's got some prominence across the different newspapers. And I watched it from start to finish. And I think, is this what goes on at the IPAC meetings, or was it a bit different because this one was televised? And you heard that sound clip that I played for you earlier. Kofi Apalo of LPG, he was weighing in on the NDC's demands of the EC. And I played that because I thought he'd given us a little bit of education there. He says, as far as research is concerned, some of the figures that the NDC is bandying about, when you drill it down, it's a negligible figure. But if you listen to the NDC, they also put their points across as to why even one misplaced voter or one misplaced transfer or so on and so forth could cause havoc on the day. So it's not really just about whether or not those numbers matter. And they really do, because if you've had MP3 as a member of parliament winning with some 3 votes, it definitely makes a difference. Look at what's happening in parliament. Even one vote. Even one. You can be MP1. Forget about MP3. So he made some points that I thought it would be good to highlight, but also put some flesh on the bones. We also heard from Ekwia Donko. I've got to find that clip. And she was asked to retract her comment. In fact, retract what she had said. She had some unsavory things to say about the NDC, but there was a lot
It was a low blow.
You call it a low blow?
Yeah, it was a low blow. I mean, I thought that, yesterday when we discussed this, I said every individual there, every political party or candidate should get into the room with some self-restraint, so that we won't have all of that noise that we see every now and then from IPAC engagements or EC's engagement with the stakeholders. And I think largely I saw that. And it allowed us to follow the conversation. That was all I was talking about.
Right.
We should be able to follow the conversation. But if you started going off like that on other people, so imagine the NDC had responded. You get it? And there was an official of the EC. I don't know what it was, Mr. Tete. I didn't quite get the voice. I didn't know who was asking her to retract and apologize. But I didn't hear the retraction. I didn't hear the apology. Again, I was happy when there was an attempt by one of the moderators from the EC to stop Dr. Omane Boama of the NDC. I think he was making a presentation. He had gone past the allotted time, and there was a reminder saved on him. That too, some way. But I was happy when, again, You could hear the voices at the background from the other representatives. Oh, let him continue. Let him continue. You see, the whole idea was for us to hear what everybody had to say.
That's right.
So that we are each convinced. At the end of the day, everybody had time to speak.
That's right.
Hassan Ayaraga went on and on. When they attempted stopping him, he said, look, I'm also a big party.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were the sentiments of some of the smaller parties.
Yes, don't stop me.
Would
I'm
you
also
say
a
the
big
EC
party.
had a strong handle on affairs yesterday? Because that was some of the critique that we had for the EC when the balloting happened, that, oh, come on, EC, you should be taking better charge of proceedings. It seems as though they had taken a back foot or that they were overwhelmed. I think I agree with you, Sixtus. Yesterday, the posturing was much better. As far as the time allocation was concerned, I thought it was quite curious. So they laid the ground rules before they let the party speak. So I heard them say, that's the EC rep say, I don't quite remember who was moderating at that time. They said 4 minutes each, no bantering, don't make it personal, make it succinct, be respectful and mindful of those there. I think at certain points when reps of the parties were veering off, like we do here on air, I would have expected that the EC officials would have said, for example, when Madam Appiah-Ampofo was speaking, halfway through, like I do on radio, say, hey, please and please again,
don't take me there.
Don't take me there. Don't create a problem that I don't want to be a part of, because you are moderating. You know the headache that comes from people saying whatever they want to say on your platform. You then have to go and do all manner of whatever. So those were my only critiques, but it was very, 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 very exciting to see the dialogue between the different parties and those that had read the CI and came with some legal knowledge as well. That was impressive. It lets us know that yes, we are some work is being done. We're not just sitting down.
So we can do this actually.
Yes.
We can do it better. We can talk to each other. We can listen to each other. We can understand each other. That's all that matters. And all the noise will then fade off. And then eventually we are able to sieve out the real issues for concern. So at the end of the day, when I was listening through, each of them had something good to say about the EC. Each of the people that I listened to, they had something good to say about the EC. Even the
NDC that came with major gripes, I think at some point said that we are happy that the EC is even admitting to some of these mistakes. And for me, that was refreshing. And so I give commendation to the EC. They said, yes, this was completely wrong. We got it wrong. You see how disarming that is when somebody comes to you contrite. I got it wrong.
I admit this was wrong.
What can you do?
I didn't get this right. Let's move on.
And we barely see or hear that.
So I really think that it was a good exercise yesterday. The NDC says it is still going to appeal to the EC to do something for the political parties and their representatives to. They are not using the word audit, but I get a sense it still has to do with auditing of the EC IT system.
So that is what the NDC has added to its demand. So now they want a forensic audit of the register as well as a forensic audit of EC's IT system. So that is a whole other layer. No, actually, it's always been there. The audit of the IT system has always been there. When I listened to Sami Jemfi on the key point with Alfredo Kansi on Saturday, I think 3 Saturdays ago or 4 Saturdays ago, it was one of the strong points that was made. And was it the same day the EC Director of Electoral Services also appeared on the key point? Yes. And I think it's always been the same argument. Yes.
They're asking for an audit of the register in itself and an audit of the IT infrastructure or system of the EC, because they don't understand how somebody can sit in his room. So I can just pick my phone and call my friend at the EC and say, transfer Helen's vote from Kanda to Bumpuru, so that Helen will not be able to vote. And I may not even be able to tell my friend at the EC why Helen's vote has to be to be transferred. And then my friend at the EC will effect that transfer. I think that is why the NDC is asking for an audit of the IT system.
Yes, and apparently also the passwords that some of these EC officials, or shall we call them employees or whatever, contractors, they're able to change the passwords that they are given to get into the system. I think that was admitted to by the EC yesterday in the proceeding. So the NDC, after the meeting, when the press, had swarmed them for some responses or some reactions, they said just by virtue of that fact that the passwords can be changed, is enough to ask or demand an auditing of the actual IT system itself to catch any loopholes that might happen. So in terms of the actual IPAC meeting, we know that at least 8 parties that were present out of the 12 are against a forensic audit. And then you've got the PPP and the NDC asking for the audit. I believe some 2 parties or 1 party didn't actually speak. I'll find out who those silent parties were that refused to add their voice to the IPAC meeting. But why did they not speak? A prime opportunity. Some picked the mic to say their own. MPP said, we will win again. They took the mic to say, we will win. NDC will not win. Maybe they want to do some extra, I don't know what you call it. But for example, Hassan Ayaraga came and even told us some things that were in his manifesto at the IPAC meeting.
No, but I think for me, he was the spotlight of the engagement.
Hassan Ayaraga.
Yes. He made some concessions and rightly placed the blame where it's supposed to be. And that is on the political parties, their representatives, their candidates, and it would be unfair to blame the independent candidates and their people because they haven't been part of the process all this while officially. But I think he did it for me when he said that, look, we must admit that there's a problem. And that problem is created by the same people in the room. That was his point. And so if they wanted to be leaders of the country, they couldn't be seen to be creating problems for the country and turning around, behaving as if they don't know where the problems were coming from. And that was where he said that he had advocated from day one, his party had advocated from day one, that the EC has no business compiling a voter register if we have a proper ID system or infrastructure in place.
So he says if we have that database already, like in other places, as soon as you turn 18, you are enrolled. You are enrolled. You have your
and you are probably asked to go to your nearest EC office to then ensure that the transition is done. And some of us have actually made this same argument before. That look, we have an NIA database. Helen, we queued to do those registrations.
That's right.
Some of us were not fortunate. Our cards came with errors. We had to go through another hassle.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't have that problem.
Okay.
We had to go through another hassle. When I say some of us, I mean citizens.
Okay.
So people had to go through another hassle to try to effect corrections on their cards. Now, after collecting that data, we ask people to go through the same process again, to submit details again for a compilation of a voter register.
Why are we doing that?
When we could have just simply streamlined, or not, don't use the word streamline, picked the information from NIA to compile the voter register.
So we are way behind this particular activity of having one solid national database that would remove all of this wahala of EC IT
wasting
system.
Money and other resources as a country.
Well, Hassan Ayaraga was very passionate in his rant yesterday. Let's just take a listen to it. It's a long one, but just a minute or two so that you can situate what Sixtus is saying. Take a listen.
My greetings to Madam Chair and to all party members here from various parties. First of all, I want to applaud both the NDC and Madam Jane Mensah, the Commission, for doing a great job and listening to each other. The NDC had brought a lot of issues for all of us to listen to. We have carefully listened to it on various platforms, and today we are on the main platform where things were addressed. for all of us to hear. But for me, it's going to be very difficult for Ghana to have a perfect system without a national data system. We've been running around talking about data collection, data system, national health insurance, DVLA, Ghana card, EC. In other jurisdictions, I'm sure some of those from the foreign countries are here, they have a data system, a database, one data system that has every information of everybody from the child born today until the last old man standing. We don't have such data.
The best in the morning is on
And we must admit that we are doing our best to give each other a perfect data. And that has challenges. We cannot say that we will not have challenges in anything we do. That is not entirely true. So in as much as we want a perfect data, we should be thinking about the APC national data system that we have been proposing all this while. That system captures every information of everyone. And when you turn 18, you don't need the EC to tell you, come and register. A letter will be sent to you to go to the EC's office to register your name automatically. When you turn 18, whether you are a Ghanaian or a foreigner who comes from Ghana or another country, you cannot register if you're a foreigner. But what do we do here? Parties here bring in foreigners to come and register. Parties here bring in minors to come and register. And you expect 100% perfection of a voter register. How is that going to be possible? We are the cause of where we are today, and we must all admit, we cannot be feeding the voter register and expect it to be credible the way we want it. So if the EC is giving us something and the MDC is asking a forensic audit into the voter register, there's no problem asking for a forensic audit. But the problem here is that we are only holding a provisional voter register. And that allows for correction, and allows for updates, and that allows us to make suggestions like we are doing now until we get to the final register. It is when we have the final register, then we have problems with it. Of course.
He says, when we have the final register, and then we can certainly interrogate the issues. And then at that point, maybe an audit or a forensic audit would be necessary. So there's that other leg of the conversation as well. The EC says they will re-exhibit for the parties to then go and have a look to make sure that these corrections, the online
No,
thing.
that one there, they shouldn't do that. Online.
Online, yes.
No. The people, the real people who would be checking, they are not online. If you are exhibiting it online, then you are targeting Greater Accra region. In fact, sections sections of Greater Accra region. But this is an exercise that should go. In fact, the concerned areas that they keep talking about is Pusiga.
That's right.
Yes, I mean you can't. What's the mobile phone penetration in Pusiga?
Okay.
What's the internet penetration?
Paint a picture for us.
I honestly don't have the data.
Okay.
But I'm just with a general picture or knowledge or understanding of our country.
Yes.
I can make the point that look, an online exhibition of the register will not do justice to the concerns that have been raised. In fact, there are even people in Accra here who would not be able to go through the process if we are relying on an online exhibition of the register. We have shot ourselves in the foot. We have dilly-dallied and played and done this back and forth with this critical issue so much so that we've run out of time and now we are stuck. If you exhibit the register online, you have done nothing. You have not helped the situation. So for me, it's not going to help. And I have to just say that the Hassan Ayariga submission is a submission that we need to go back and listen to. For me, he demonstrated maturity and he captured the concerns. He made the point as it must be made.
Certainly. And we'll play the rest of that soundbite, of course, before we end the show today. We have a lot to talk about as far as this IPAC meeting is concerned. Again, apologies. No Johnny's Bites this morning. I see a number of you still asking. No Johnny's Bites this morning. Apologies for that. But the New Finder newspaper this morning has this to say. Banking sector assets surge by some 38.7%, a remarkable leap from 19.6% in 2023. Utilize free breast screening exercises, and of course it is October. We also dub it Pinktober. We put a lot of emphasis on breast cancer awareness, so do stick with us all throughout the month and we'll tell you exactly how you can take advantage of free breast screening. But you can do that at home as well all throughout the month of October. Let that be a reminder. You wake up in the morning and then you check. T-bills.
Checking yourself?
Yes, you check yourself. And this month we'll tell you how to do. Yes.
Okay.
It's very possible.
You don't need another person to help you.
We always ask that the men in our lives also take up that role.
Okay.
In some instances, some of you say you know the anatomy better than the anatomy holder. Are you with me?
Can you repeat that?
T-bills.
No, it's...
Investor demand in sharp decline. This is one that is catching a lot of attention on the socials and beyond. We'll talk about that. Monetary policy shift, a welcome development. The News Center newspaper this morning, it says detail-driven news. Voter register, NDC fails to present evidence in televised IPAC meeting. Was that the case? Is that the case? Stick with us this morning. We'll give you the lowdown, the skinny, the 411. Resettling Akosombo Dam victims, phase 2, to build 1,010 homes. You recall that banter between Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, Housing and Works and Housing Minister, and between himself and Honorable Kojo Ablakwa. He's now the...
You mean the future presidential candidates?
The two of
NDC and the
MPP. They went back and forth. I think those 2 weeks have elapsed. You recall Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah says, in 2 weeks we'll send contractors out there. I believe it was Joy News. They actually at him on X. They say, how far? I'm not sure that Joy News. Did you get a response?
And I actually saw in response to that, I read a piece from the head of communication at the minister's office, Kweku.
Okay.
What's his other name? Yeah, Kweku. Kweku had a response to them. He said there was, I think some machinery had been deployed to the place and time is not passed. Some action has started.
I see. Deployed before or after the 2 weeks had elapsed?
Well.
Exactly. 800,000 farmers get food grants, 25 kg rice, 100 kg maize for each person. Organized labor to embark on strike from October 10. Now, Sixtus, this particular issue of organized labor intending to hit the streets on October 10 has been met with different reactions because I saw a lot of you asking on the socials and beyond why an extension of the time, and that organized labor was emphatic that we're giving government up until the end of the month, which expired 2 days ago, to address the issue of galamsey. We're asking for a state of emergency to be declared, all small-scale mining be halted, and so on and so forth. Well, that time elapsed. What do you think about organized labor then giving government an extra grace period of some 9 days or 10 days?
But in defense of organized labor, Helen, you don't just declare a strike overnight.
Okay.
That would be unfair to the system.
But was that not the deadline?
No, there was a deadline. And the statement was that if you did not do ABC by September 30, we will advise ourselves.
Okay.
September 30 came and went. There was no action from government. They met. Organized labor actually met.
That's right.
To then decide on their next line of action. And that is what we have seen.
Why 10 days?
No,
because you gave somebody a whole month.
No. You can't just say that, okay, the month ended, and so October 1, we are declaring strike. No. They had a meeting October 1, and they couldn't have said, I would have been disappointed if they had a meeting yesterday and said they were starting the strike today. Because you need to give the system some time. And that is to all of us our benefit. If I have something happening at, say, the local government, my district assembly,
right.
I need to process some document.
Because of course, clocks would be part of the strike.
Declare a strike. It will affect me.
But you are dying.
Wrongly.
Well, whatever business you are going to do, if come next year you now have cancer or your kidneys are failed, that business you went to do there, clocks had helped you. It has fallen flat.
Is that the period
you
that
and I will be here October 10. You and I will be here October, because
then
for me,
I will come down hard on them if they change their mouth again.
Because it will go from October 10 to October. Listen,
no, the point I'm making is that I know
what I'm talking about.
Yes, I suspect I know what you know.
Thank you.
But
Sixtus, are you with me?
I'm with you. But the point I'm making is that it would be unfair to the system if organized labor met yesterday and just said they were going on strike today or tomorrow. They need to be able to give the system some time to be able to adjust to the action that they are coming to take. It's only fair to you and I.
So then maybe what could have happened, if you say to adjust, is a staggered approach. So you start. You
say that 2nd October, like what the doctors do.
So and so will withdraw. So maybe this service. Because for me, it appears that organized labor is holding out onto some hope that doesn't exist. If I give you 1 month to pay me my money, and in that 1 month you haven't shown any desire, in fact, your family members are on social media telling others that, oh, this money that you will not even get it.
You are suspecting that they are hoping that something will happen.
If you owe me money, I give you 1 month to pay the money. You don't pay. I see your family members say, oh, then I come back and say, you didn't give my money back. I'm giving you 10 days. Bring my money. Will you take me seriously? I will not take you seriously.
Helen, I think that for now, I think that the approach is fair.
Okay.
I will only have a problem if on the 10th of October, we don't see action from government and yet no action from organized labor as well. Then I will have a big problem.
I want organized labor to prove me
wrong.
So wrong.
Yes.
But I'm smelling something in the atmosphere.
Joshua Ansah, we know you. Kenneth Kumsin, we know you. Abraham Kumsin, we know you. You are principled people. You are men of your word. We are waiting. It's a common fight. It's a common fight.
Engineer Ken Ashigbe called it the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey.
Galamsey,
I'm
yes.
a proud member, and I know organized labor is a proud member. And I'm passionate this morning because a lot of young people are following the conversation, and they have a lot of hope and faith. Like, they believe organized labor pass, especially what we saw with the hotel saga. SNIT was writing statements at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., no signature. And they had to go back to the drawing board and give us signatures. And that's when we saw that organized labor means business.
Yeah.
And this time around, a lot of Ghanaians have put their faith in organized labor.
The action we saw from organized labor on the SNIT hotels issue is the kind of action that we should be seeing on critical national issues.
That's right.
And let me say here and now that I am disappointed in the student front. I mean, you can't have a National Union of Ghana students. You can't have a University Students Association of Ghana. You can't have a professional National Union of Professional Students. And all those students that people are fighting to become presidents and general secretaries and national coordinators of, and such critical issues as Galamsey, we don't hear your voices. Students, the so-called leaders of tomorrow. Look, the 1995 demo, the Kumipreku Demono, students were part. The Haruna Idrisu of today, the Okujeto Ablakwa of today, the Omani Boama of today, the Sami Ewuku of today, the Tony Kabo of today, all those young men and women of today, Muslim, my own sister, Shamima Muslim.
Shamima.
All of these are former student leaders, and they were all prominent in national discourse as student leaders.
So unlike what we're seeing today.
Unlike what we are seeing a very useless student movement today.
That's very scathing, Sixtus.
No. Okay, should I say we are seeing a not useful? I'm speaking English,
I think that
Helen.
euphemism is more palatable this morning.
We are seeing a not useful student. Come on, Helen. Why do you want to do this to me?
Semantics and linguistics. But you've been saying this.
And all the students are interested
Sixtus, you've been saying this for a while now. This you've been very passionate about this, that the students, you're not seeing them.
We're not seeing them. Look, I have been part of USAC. I have been part of NUCS. I have campaigned for a lady. If we had won that election, we would have had the first female NUCS president years back.
Of course,
her name is Ekuba. And Ekuba campaigned to become, and that was my first engagement with NUCS, and I saw the ugly side of student politics. You see, and the current information minister, she went for the NUCS elections. She wanted to be NUCS, was it coordinator or president, something.
So really and truly, that is where we see our crop of leaders coming from. When they emanate from these student groupings, the leaders, that is what shapes them.
Exactly. So it is no excuse, and make no mistakes. The NDC, the MPP, the CPP, they are involved in these elections.
In fact, that is what has taken a hold these days.
That is the problem.
Even more so.
So news cannot talk because they are either on NDC side or MPP side, or they are divided. You have the NDC NUCS and you have the student.
MPP.
We cannot go on like that.
So meaning that
we can't go on like that.
Party politics has managed to permeate every fiber of our society. No institution, nothing is spared from this divisive.
And I will not be doing justice to my discussion if I don't rope in the SRC of the Ghana School of Law. It's such a respectable institution that we need to be seeing statements from all these student organizations. Stop doing needless partisan politics with your student elections and be involved. We are each and every day we come and demand responsibility. We come and demand action. We want to be involved. We want inclusivity in national discourse, in national action, in national discussions. And yet there are important national conversations and common statements. Student leaders cannot issue them. Student leaders, NUCS, you cannot issue a statement condemning. Just issue a statement and say we condemn Galamsey. Simple. You are not killing anybody by doing that.
Don't let your BP rise too much. Will you run through the headlines for us? We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll elicit that same passion from you, our callers. We call it community voices. Channel that energy from Sixtus, and let's hear you this morning. Citizens and not spectators. Sixtus.
Ghanaian Times newspaper, most authoritative newspaper. Voters register robust, ready for elections on December 7. That is according to the EC after the inter-party committee meeting. NDC government will offer inspirational, compassionate leadership. Mahama is speaking. Organized labor threatens strike October 10 over Galamsey. Back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Yendi solar power plant comes on stream November. Bui Power Authority CEO is quoted. Citizens must safeguard resources against abuse. I beg your pardon. Dr. Steve Mantiao is quoted here. Permit me, let me open to page 3 of the paper. Some sad stories, headlines. Chief priest of English Alata shot dead. Pastor allegedly beheads wife, commits suicide. Pastor 5 others remanded following chaos on ARS church premises.
Very troubling
Something
indeed.
is happening to the church. Away to the Ghanaian Daily Graphic newspaper. We won't fail you. EC assures parties and NHIS should provide free cover to people above 60 years. Lecturer is asking. Mahama urges clergy to show interest in elections, and I agree with that. The church should not sit aloof. It's not nice.
Okay.
Stop stigmatization against breast cancer victims. Survivor is speaking. Government GESAL to provide 166 million Ghana cedi interest-free loans to farmers. And Agric Minister Brian Champong is pictured.
Fantastic. Well, time check. It is some 22 minutes past the hour of 7. Still live here on 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We go on a quick break. When we come back, we activate the phone lines. Again, I remind you, citizens and not spectators. We'll be right back.
This skill you have in dressmaking and soap making, won't it be a good